Hey everybody on Facebook Live. It's me, Jason, and I'm here brewing beer with maple sap. Now, if you notice, I know it's backwards, but I've got my Brewniform on, my brewing uniform, and it says, Brewmaster, drink all you want, I'll make more. So I wanted to pop on, especially for my friends who are into brewing, and I am brewing with maple sap. So I've been wanting to do this for 2 years. Now, if you look here, this is straight up maple sap right out of the tree. It doesn't look like maple syrup like this. Like, you see how dark that is? This is boiling this down for hours and hours and hours and hours. And I can buy maple syrup in a store and use it as an additive. But the way I'm using the maple sap is that I'm using it instead of water when I brew beer. So I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I kind of have set up. I also am going to test it. I'll test it right here online because there's already a little sugar in the sap. So I'm going to actually do a test with my hydrometer, and I have that right here. And refractometer. So my refractometer bends the light, and it just lets you know how much sugar is in a liquid. Now, the liquid can't have alcohol in it. Once the beer has alcohol, then I have to use another device called a hydrometer. But right now, I'm going to test it because I like to label everything, and I like to I have my paperwork back there. So I'm just going to literally take a pipette of some of the maple sap, drip it on the reflective screen. Then I'm going to close the door. Little thing right here, close it in, and give it a look. See, and to see, normal water is 1.000. This is reading as 1.011. So there is a little bit of sugar, but even before I start doing anything in the sap, and I'm really curious at what it tastes like. So it tastes like water, with just a little hint of sweetness, not overpowering. So this is going to be very exciting to know what my final beer is going to be like once I come out. So I will clean off my refractometer in a moment. You don't really need to see that. So let me show you what I've got going on. I'm going to take you off of the stand and kind of walk you through. So right now, let me flip this around. What's up, Charles, man? So right now I've got a little hops in my sap, and many guys. All right, so many guys don't actually get the opportunity to brew with sap. I've tried to talk to some people, and nobody knows what the heck I'm talking about. So as you can see right now, I'm starting the steep, and what this is called. I watched a podcast this morning about first. It's called First Wort Hop Additions, which is what I'm doing before you bring it up to a boil. So right now I have Northern Brewer hop pellets in there, and you can see kind of what they look like. Those are the hop pellets. Those are going to go in the boil. I've got my yeast starter going, which is pretty awesome. As you can see, it's nice. It's going to be nice and active, ready for that addition. I have both. I'm doing a partial mash. So I've got my amber malt extract. I've got about 4 pounds of it. And then, as you can see, that's about 4 pounds of the extract. And then I have the whole grain, which is a combination. Let me grab my recipe of, it's a combination of 8 ounces of Carapils malt, 8 ounces of caramel malt. Well, you can see it right there. So that's the grain bill right there. So that's, and I'm all set to go. I'm just waiting on my water, my mash temp to kind of get up so I can add the grains. I also am going to do a pH. So actually, hang on one second. Let me make sure I don't forget because I have space. So the gravity was 1.011. And then I have pH strips right here. Oh, you can't see it. I have pH strips right here. Let me get you back up, and then we could do a pH, because I'm just very curious now of what the pH level is on the sap itself, because generally the water is about 7-ish Let's see, we can do a test on that too. So I'm curious. So I've got my pH strip, which we will dip in the sap for a couple of seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't seem to be 5, 6, 7. There really doesn't seem to be. Oh, there's a little. Oh, yeah, it's starting to change a little bit, right? So it's probably looks like it's in like the 6.5 range. So it is a little on. Yep. It's about the 6.5 range. It's a little bit on the acidic side, and that's okay for brewing. Yeah, that should be perfect. And then plus I have the malt extract, so that'll make sure that there's enough minerals and stuff in my wort so that the yeast can do their job. So actually, let's compare that. I'm curious at the comparison to just my regular tap water. So hang on one second. So I have just regular iced tap water here. That's just to test to make sure my thermometer is calibrated, because I like to make sure all of my equipment is as calibrated as possible, because the more accurate that you can be, the more delicious the beer is. So right now I have an Irish Red that and a very sour hazy IPA, apricot IPA. Yeah, so this is the sap, and it's hard to see, and this is my tap water, and they're almost actually identical in pH. So I should be really good to go. Super excited about brewing with that maple sap. Now there's 2 ways you can use maple. Like I could have boiled all of that sap down. I have about 8 gallons of sap, and I'll show you that in a sec. But I could have boiled that down into maple syrup and use it as an additive. But it's actually more fun for me to actually use it in replacement of water. So let me just kind of flip around. I'll show you. Hang on one second. I love this. I'm super excited. So this was the 2 gallon. This had the 2 gallons of sap in just like a Poland Spring water pitcher, and then I have another one here in the back ready. Actually, you can see I kept it outside because there is residual sugars. There is sugar in the liquid itself, and if you don't brew it really quickly, or you don't go to the brew process pretty quickly, then it will start to ferment on its own, and you want to be careful about that. All right, so that's my brewing with sap. I will let you know how it is, and so. In about a month, so if you're interested in coming over and having a beer with me and trying it out, just hit me up on Facebook or send me a message, and we can sit and chat over the beer that was brewed with tree sap. I am really excited about it because the 2 things when I started to teach yoga and go into kind of healthy lifestyle education, the 2 things I couldn't give up was a good beer and a good cup of coffee. And so now I'm brewing my own, so I know what's in there. And it's awesome. It's just so much fun. So if anyone wants to kind of hang out and brew, just let me know, and we can set up a brew date. All right, catch you guys later. Peace.